Oh dear folks, Sir Keir Starmer's Labour Party, that well-oiled machine of competence and clarity, they've done it again! In the last day or so, Starmer appointed Ashley Dalton MP as the new Public Health Minister after unceremoniously booting out Andrew Gwynn over the weekend for some rather unsavoury messages about wishing that his pensioner constituents would pop their clogs. But before Labour pats itself on the back for yet another display of integrity, it turns out that Dalton, she brings her own baggage to the role, and it's quite the haul. Have a look at some of these reactions to just really clarify and hit home what I'm talking about. In just the last 72 hours for Labour, Starmer's got himself a HIV test. Why? I don't know. They said the press conference would feature a little prick, and they said, yes, what about the needle, sir? Rayner meets His Majesty the King in brothel creepers, these shoes that look more appropriate at a goth convention in Whitby. Andrew Gwynn, of course, sacked for those death wishes on voters, and the new health minister thinks it's okay to self-identify as a llama because everybody's identity needs to be respected. Jack says, currently in Britain we have a health minister who thinks he can identify as a llama, a foreign secretary who thinks men can grow a cervix, and a male A&E doctor arguing that he's a woman in court. All of these things, of course, aided and abetted by the Labour Party. And this is the Sun today. Steve Miller, formerly of the telly, says fucking madness. New Labour Health Minister Ashley Dalton reckons people can identify as a llama and that women can have a willy. All of these things, it's the Labour Party on steroids, folks. I can't believe people elected these clowns. I really, really can't. But Dalton is, shall we say, deeply committed to this gender ideology. She has in the past declared that trans women are women, no ifs, no buts, no biology and all the rest of it. In 2016, she stated, I think people should be able to identify and define their own gender, and that society should be set up to support, not hinder that. Now, of course, setting aside the minor inconvenience of science, it seems Labour's latest health minister believes that reality itself is up for negotiation. You don't need a doctor pet, you need a vet. And you don't need a vet, you need a straitjacket. But it does get even better. In a staggering revelation for someone in charge of public health, Dalton argued that gendered bathrooms shouldn't exist at all. She says no ladies or gents lose, just one big free-for-all. Because when patients, are languishing on NHS waiting lists, the one thing that they're thinking of more than anything else is, when can we get rid of our bigoted toilets? And the fact of the matter is, she's meant to be in charge of the NHS, of sorting out waiting lists and all these other things. Well, in 2023, she was raging against the use of the private sector to get patients seen faster, claiming that it was leaving people behind. Well, Wes Streeton doesn't agree with that, and I doubt he agrees with people identifying as llamas either. So these ideologues, they've got a over 400-seat majority. What was it, 420 odd? And they cannot find someone that isn't madder than a box of frogs. It's absolutely baffling to me. And she goes on to say that as a public health minister, that if someone tells you you're a llama, you've got to nod. You've got to pretend, go along with it. Pretend you're on a nature reserve rather than a psychiatric ward. But Lee Anderson, my friends, the Reform MP, he did it better than anyone else. He highlighted this craziness superbly.
Lee Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, the new Health Minister has stated that it's okay for a human being to present as a llama. So what I want to know is, if I have a family member who presents as a llama, suddenly becomes ill in the middle of the night, do they send for a doctor, a vet, or a straitjacket?
Mr. Speaker, I can just say to the honourable member,
he's even laughing.
My honourable friend, the Minister for Public Health, believes in treating every human being with the dignity and respect they deserve, even the honourable gentleman.
Well, one bit sinister to suggest that, she wouldn't have been au fair with treating a Reform Member of Parliament in hospital. But secondly, a human being. She's not talking about human beings. She says that we can all identify as animals. And you get to the GB News performance by a Labour politician who came on not to say that maybe we got it wrong and interpreted our words incorrectly, but came on to defend our position. I shit you not.
Good afternoon, Tom and Emily. And yes, I absolutely believe, just as Ashley does, that anybody has the right to self-identify as they want. And that is a right that we across the Labour Party believe in. That's
Seriously,
why,
Dominic?
Ashley's a
He says
fantastic
what we as a
appointment.
party
Sorry,
believe in.
seriously?
Are you actually being serious now?
Of course I am, Tom.
Dominic, seriously, I do wonder whether in 10 years' time you'll still believe this.
Well, I firmly believe it now, and I think the Labour Party does too. Just because someone's got the right to identify as a llama doesn't mean they actually do identify as a llama. The right to do so, if you truly, in good faith, identify as a llama, is one that you have the right to do.
So we should take them to the vet if they get hurt. We should feed them grass or whatever llamas like to eat.
But whether someone identifies as a llama or
outside.
not doesn't actually mean they have a human, doesn't stop them having a human body, though, does it? So no. And Lee
well, there we
Anderson's
go.
point is,
Fact
should you
and
take them to a
fiction.
vet?
That's
Or
fact
should
and
you take them
fiction
to a
then.
vet, or should you take them to a doctor? If Lee Anderson doesn't know the answer to that, I'm not sure he's fit to be a member of Parliament.
Well, hang on a minute, because if you follow the trans logic through, well, women don't have prostates either, but they're all talking about women getting asked whether or not they need their prostates checking if they're trans. So why not get a vet out if someone identifies as a llama? This is the logic if you follow it through. But if you follow it through, of course, you end up on a route to madness, because it is bloody mad. Madder than a box of frogs, as I say. And we elected these people. Well, not you and I bet you didn't at home. I certainly bloody didn't. But people elected these people. Clowns running the bloody freak show. That's what it is.